There are lots of other things worth a quick bit of conversation tonight.
Read. Put 30 seconds on the timer for Edge on the clock.
All right, guys, a British newspaper is reporting on a medical mystery of a guy who'd been having episodes of deja vu for the past 8 years. He says he's felt like he's been in a time loop. How weird would that be?
Very, very, very weird.
Yes.
He no longer is able to watch television, he can't listen to the radio or read because of the persistent feelings of having encountered all of that before. He heard the song before, he read the book before, he's heard that news story before. Can you imagine?
No, and that's the thing that's hard to imagine is because even though he hasn't experienced some of these things, it just feels like and it totally throws him off.
Yeah.
Have you ever read a book or something and you're like, this seems so familiar to me? That would drive me batty.
But I've heard deja vu doesn't really exist.
Well, guys, a British newspaper is reporting on a medical mystery of a guy who's been having episodes of deja vu for the past 8 years. He says he feels like he's been stuck in a time loop.
Yes, this is so bizarre. This guy says that he can no longer watch TV, he can't listen to the radio, and he can't even read anymore because he feels like he's encountered all of that material before.
And
he's heard of the song, he's read the book, he's seen the news story.
That's weird because it's like, you've read a book before and you're just like, halfway through, you're like, gosh, I know I've read this. The worst is when you buy the book again.
Well, guys, it's an edgy farewell to the guy who made modern sportscasting what it is today. 81-year-old Tony Verna was the guy who came up with instant replay back in 1963. What would sports be like without it?
It would be totally different. I mean, I'm sure you're the same way. My husband always, it's all right, they'll show it on replay.
Yeah.
They'll show it on replay.
Yeah.
Where's the replay? What are they doing?
But you also have to think on how it's changed the rules of the game. Now you have instant replay to review a play and change it, and it's pervaded over into baseball now, and people are like, oh, the purists, we don't want that. But it's so prevalent, and that guy was a genius. And the first time he did it, he was lugging around a 1,300-pound tape machine that he had to sync up a loop.
Real
so
film.
He could, old school people.
Crazy.
It's an edgy farewell to the guy who made modern sportscasting what it is today. And 81-year-old Tony Verna was the guy who came up with instant replay back in 1963. What would sports be like without it?
The games would be a lot faster.
I'm sure you, like my husband, ran to the same thing. We'll wait for it on instant replay. And then he gets upset. Where's the replay? Play the replay.
I hate that. And then they don't show it from enough angles. All right. One last story to squeeze in this block. Make sure you have someone else check the cabinet you're thinking about buying. Someone at a Lowe's store in Mississippi opened a cabinet and a black rat snake jumped out and bit him on the head. Now, they're not poisonous, but they're mean as all get out.
Okay, so a couple years ago in Charlotte, I did a story with a pest control guy. We were talking about how to make sure that your home is free of unwanted pests. Not your husband, the vermin kind. And he was talking about how snakes can climb trees and get into your attic. And during the wintertime, they like to coil up on your attic pull down because that's where they feel the most warmth. So he said he was warning people, when you go into your attic, you might want to sort of position yourself that if there is a snake, you can jump out of the way. So every time I now go into my attic, I think about this guy and the interview that he gave me, and I think about a black rat snake, coincidentally enough, jumping out and biting me in the head. I
did not know that, but now that I do know that, best believe, hey, Tyler, why don't you go up in the attic for me? Hook me up.
No!
You had to watch Saturday Night Live. Kevin Hart did a whole bit on that.
Can you imagine? Social media makes it easy to unfriend people, but what about people you know in real life? Technology to the rescue. There's a new app that can tell you when to break off that relationship.
And later, Justin Bieber about to get the comedy comeuppance of his career. As if the Biebs weren't the butt of enough jokes already.